Hello, mamas. We are so excited that you're here. There is a reason that you had clicked on this link. Maybe you had felt at some point that something was off, and you know that there's more to motherhood than just wiping butts and like being on that hamster wheel. And we know because that was us too. The two of us were on our own separate journeys, separate stories where we really felt like something was missing. And after a lot of experience, ups and downs, hardships, and like self development, we realized that there is so much more to motherhood. There is so much more that we can embrace. So we had put together this challenge. We're super excited to start. So today is day one. I'm just going to start by introducing myself and where I'm at and why I feel like I was called to kind of share this with you. But my name is Diana Din. I'm a mom of four. I have always wanted to be a mom for as long as I can remember. I was always super maternal, but it was not what I thought it was going to be when I started out. It was much harder. There was so much that no one ever talked about. And I just found myself like three kids in on that hamster wheel, going to work, going home, and just not really living. I was just kind of going through the motions and I knew that I was wasting all of these years while my kids were little away. And I got to a point where I was just really frustrated and it started to show in everything that I did. And it wasn't until somebody at work like pointed out that I was really mean that I knew that something was wrong because I was just playing victim. And then I did a lot of self development for my business and in turn used a lot of that at home and it completely changed everything for me. So I knew that I wanted to share. And when I met Vanessa and we talked about a lot of the same things, we realized we had very similar journeys. So I'll let her explain like where she's coming from and introduce herself.
Hi guys, I'm Vanessa Asuncion. I have three children. And when I started with my parenting journey and my life as a mom, I thought it would be like a walk in the park simply because I've always been surrounded by children. I was a kindergarten teacher for like 5 years in Taiwan. And I'm like, I got this. It's so easy. I know children and I can manage them. But oh boy, did I not know that I am in for a different experience of my life. It's so different having your own children and the ways that you had to navigate around it. So, how did I get into coaching? How did I get into this mindset right now? When I got pregnant with my third, this just happened last year. I decided that I want to take up coaching so I can use it as a career. I can do a work that I can be at home because I need to stay at home and take care of her, right? And my agenda is to make it better for my portfolio. I need to help people. It's people, they are the ones who need help, right? Then little did I know that I'm the one who needs healing, that I was actually turning into a monster mom when I get mad. You know, there's something in me that's growing and I turn into a monster mom and a monster wife too. Could be a monster sister too, because I was just like so angry at times, but I didn't know that. When I did the coaching, I was like, oh my goodness, that's me. I'm the one that needs healing. I'm the one that needs to be better. I'm the one who needs to improve. So that's the reason why I got into this. And it was so amazing. That's why when Diana and I talked about it, we knew right then and there, this is our calling. The reason why we are a stay-at-home mom right now is so that we can do something of our time and not lose the career or the path that we want for ourselves. So my entrepreneurial spirit together with my motherhood combined is this, your mama story. We are so ready to take you to a journey. Brace yourself. Are you ready? Yeah, day one. Let's do this.
So day one is all about just helping you feel seen and like realizing where we're at today. Because I think for a lot of us, like we know something's wrong, but we don't know what it is. And we want you to really realize what is triggering you, what thoughts you're having that are making a negative impact on your day. So we want you to know that you're in a safe and empowering place. You're here for a reason. You're here because you know that you want to do better. And we're never going to judge you. We're both moms. Like, this is the hardest job in the world. The last thing you need is somebody judging you. And we're here to help you move forward. So we want you to start by just closing your eyes and just thinking about if any of these things have crossed your mind. So I'll let Vanessa kind of go through the first few.
Yes, I want everybody to close their eyes and internalize everything. Listen to your mind, to your thoughts. What are the things that you've been telling yourself? When you encounter a problem, do you feel, oh, there's always a problem? With the way I handle things, me being a mom, there is always a problem. I'm not complete. I'm not good. There is so many things that I can't handle on my own. And you question yourself from time to time. Why do I always see the problem in everything? When somebody's just asking you a question, oh, what? Now I'm the problem? Now it's on me? And it goes around and around in your head. And then it builds up and it becomes, no one is on my side, right? Like if you have a conversation with your husband and your husband just want to ask you, oh, why is the table dirty? You're like, well, I didn't have time to clean up. Why are you attacking me? You feel like everything is an attack. If somebody genuinely just want to tell you, oh, don't worry about it. The blanket just fell down. Don't worry, it's okay. You feel like, yeah, you know better as a mom. You're not on my side. Why are you attacking me? Now, every time when people give suggestions to you, you feel like everything is an attack. I've been in that stage. That's why I told Diana, I can really feel this to my core, like no one is on my side. And I remember when I first had my baby, I was like cleaning my baby. And every time my husband asked me a question, I feel it's an attack. Like you feel I'm not a good mom, that he's attacking me. But seriously, he was just asking a question because he's a first time dad too. So when I became a mom, I felt like no one can ask me questions. Are you in that situation? Is that what's happening to you? Like everything is an attack. When people try to actually help you, it's another attack. So now you feel so heavy because you feel everyone is against you and they're just attacking you when merely they are just asking questions, asking how you're doing, maybe making sure that everything about you is going smoothly because they know that it's hard. They know that it's not easy, right? Did you feel like that too, Diana?
Yeah, I think for a lot of moms, like you feel the heaviness. I like the word that you use because I think a lot of us can relate to that. And we're not here to attack you either, but we know that talking about these things is very important because for you to be able to move forward from it, you need to know that it's there and you need to recognize it. And I think if you close your eyes and you think about all of these scenarios day to day, you'll realize that, yeah, I do think like that. Like sometimes someone will say something, it will trigger you. You'll feel like people are just trying to bring you down and it's constantly a problem. You're constantly being attacked. And that really goes into our next point of just replaying like negative scenarios and just thinking the worst. So maybe something did happen one time and you felt like it was an attack. So the next time someone says anything along those lines, you instantly feel like it's an attack. Or, you know, maybe sometime you went out with your kids and it just didn't go well and it was really overwhelming and that's constantly playing in your head. So you're always thinking worst case scenario. And it doesn't do you any good, right? But we all do it. I think it's just our body's way of like trying to protect us, right? Is we always want to think about worst case scenario, but it's not actually protecting us. It's actually making it worse for us because we're constantly thinking negative thoughts.
Yeah.
So we want you to really sit with that and like think about what that's doing for you when nothing's going wrong, but you're constantly playing the negative scenarios in your head. And then the last thing that I think we all do, but we don't want to talk about is comparison and like telling yourself that you're not that kind of mom. Like we are constantly comparing ourselves to other people. But the worst part is that we're comparing our faults and our bad days and our weaknesses to somebody else's strengths and somebody else's best days, especially with like social media and all of that, and you're looking at
Yeah.
Instagram and the perfect mom who's got all of her kids matching and her house is beautifully decorated and clean, and you're sitting there covered in like baby spit up and your house is a mess and you haven't folded laundry in 6 days, and you're thinking to yourself like, I'm not that kind of mom. There's something wrong with me. I can't do that. And it's just this terrible comparison game that we're constantly playing, even if we don't mean to. We're subconsciously doing it, and it's really damaging to us because we're not thinking about what's good about us. We're just thinking about what's wrong with us because we're comparing it to what's good about somebody else, and it's very unfair. So we want you to really think about these points that we're talking about and recognize and realize what it's doing to you as a person and how that's going to affect everything around you.
Because they get piled up. You start with there's always a problem. And then after feeling that everything is a problem, my husband's a problem, my children are the problem because they don't listen, they're like this. Like even when you look at yourself, you do have problems from within. And the reason why the problems are existing is because we are supposed to work together. So you feel that no one on my side, and then you're replaying these negative scenarios. They all started from having a problem. So if you can figure out to stop thinking about that having a problem, then you can see how amazing it is that we can turn everything, right? And you're not going to be comparing yourself. Let's move forward. Let's see. There you go.
No more negativity.
So I am going to focus on saying hooray. So now you realize, right? You have, wow, mind blown. I have been like attacking myself. You don't like people to attack you, but what's so sad is you were actually attacking yourself. Oh my goodness, Vanessa, what have you just said? I've been attacking myself. Yes, you've been on a constant battle, beating yourself up. So now let's say hooray. Let's move forward, and we are going to focus on your story, not the story of other people, not how other people mother their kids, you. What is your niche? I feel everybody has their own niche. They talk about niche like with their work, right? With your business and how you sell yourself. But as a mother, you do have that, what you're good at, right? Like me and Diana, we're two different people, but there's something in her that I'm like, oh, that's so amazing that she has that. And there's something in me that only I can contribute.
So how do we move forward? Just detaching yourself from the everyday chaos, because we don't have to see it as a problem. I think a lot of us think that like when things go wrong, when your baby has a blowout, or like that just happened to me like an hour ago, like we see it as such a problem and we see it as a personal attack on our motherhood. Because I think it's the same thing with success and failure, where people think that failure is the opposite of success, but it's a part of it. Just like how the messes and like the arguments that we'll have and the disagreements, it's a part of the journey, and we just have to be able to detach ourselves from it.
Yes, for me, it's mistakes are there so we can learn from each other. Don't you think it's wonderful that you get to see your children's personality, and you won't really know a person's personality without the negativity altogether, right?
Yeah, it's a learning experience.
It's a learning experience. And with that mindset that you have, that you know that you can turn the problem into a solution, it just makes everything so much easier for your kids too. Easier for them to turn to you because you know that you'd be able to provide a solution. Sometimes we might not have a solution, but if your focus is the outcome, like what's our next step? We might not have the solution right now, but we are saying goodbye to the problem and we are focusing on what's the next step.
Yeah. I think we just really want to help you coach yourself through all of these little bumps that are going to happen every single day. It has nothing to do with being a perfect mom. Like these things happen to all of us, the arguments with the kids, the whining, like it all happens to all of us. But the difference, the mindset shift that we want you to make is to not take it as a personal attack. Yes. It has nothing to do with you as a person. You are not a bad mom if your child whines. You are not a bad mom if your child poops out of her diaper and you're like on the way to school and you don't have time. These things, because we see them as a problem, we see them as a personal attack. We want you to be able, like the solution here is to try to coach yourself and tell yourself that this has nothing to do with my capabilities as a mother. It's just a part of motherhood, and just focus on the next step. What can I do in this moment? Yes. To make it better? and that's it. We don't have to dwell on it. And that's the part that hurts us. That's the part that
Yeah.
it makes it so hard as a mom, is that you sit there and you dwell on it and you hurt yourself by attacking yourself, where you need to be able to step back, tell yourself like, it is what it is. This is what we're going to do. And then we're going to move forward. I'm still an awesome mom because I just dealt with this. And then I know that you have a lot to kind of touch on with just being able to identify the people around you when you think no one's on your side.
Yes, when you feel like no one's on your side, then you feel that even your in-laws, when they question you, and then you feel it's a personal attack. Maybe they just want to ask you how your kids are doing. Sometimes it's like if they ask like, "Oh, are your kids eating right?" Then we feel like, "Why did I not feed them?" That
Yeah,
that whole reaction. And it could be that because of how we were raised, the way that people talked to us before. That's why Diana was telling me that she felt awkward growing up. But I'm like, I not once did have that feeling that you're awkward. So with the way that you grew up too has a big influence in that. That's why you're so defensive. Because me, I grew up knowing what I have to know what to do. I have to figure out things. I can't ask for help. You are you, Vanessa. You should be able to do it. When I was young, nobody would cuddle me and then say everything's going to be okay. I got to scoop myself up. I got to just be tough. All the solutions to all of my problems.
So then that makes it really hard for you to lean on other people.
Then you don't know
as a mom.
Exactly. And you don't know that other people actually has a role in your life because you already pushed them away. And the sad truth is, we carry that after we left our family, our immediate family. Then now with our own family, the one that we built, we carry that with us. So you don't identify the role of your children. You see them as a problem because you don't identify that they are the one who's training you right now. For me, after having this mindset that I have right now, I came up with this phrase that motherhood is an intense training to unconditional love. Only your children can do that to you. That training that you have to go through so that you can get unconditional love, that's the role of your children. But if we see it as a problem, then all your life you would just see my children stop me from being me. Yeah. My children stop me from this. But what are their role? They're there to bring out that best in you, to take you to that journey to unconditional love. And once you have that, you will feel so empowered. Like there's no more negativity in you. You don't feel judged because you don't care anymore. You don't feel you're attacked because you don't want to be attacked. So you're so ready for everything. That's the role of your child. How powerful is that? Imagine, Diana, now you have an accomplished title, right? To perfect happiness. That's what your children are leading you. That's why they are training you. You have to let go of yourself. You have to let go of your finesse. Oh my goodness, why poop on my arm? Like Asti helped me because she saw that I was already holding my baby. Asti is my eldest daughter. And then she saw I have poop in my arm. She would never touch poop. But because she saw that her sister is having a hard time, she just grabbed the tissue, wiped it off, put soap in my hand, and washed it off with no question asked. Why did she do that? Because that's her journey to unconditional love. That's so powerful. The role of the people around us, even like your mom, Diana, right?
Yeah, I think a lot of us have kind of issues accepting help. And I know you got to a lot of the root of it. It's just how we're brought up. And I think a lot of us with our like going into motherhood, we have an idea that like we have to do it all in order to prove that we're strong. Yeah. And I meet a lot of moms that tell me like, I have a really hard time taking help because like I don't know if they're gonna do it right. I'm like overprotective, or I'm just like, I don't want my in-laws to like judge me that I can't handle my baby if I ask them for something. And at the end of the day, like we just want to identify the roles of these people. Like they're here to help you. Yes. It all comes out of love. Everybody loves your kids the same. And you have to learn to accept the help instead of feeling like everything is against you, because chances are it's not, right? It's how we're speaking to ourselves. And we as the mom, like we get to control like what we take from people. You have control. You have to give yourself that confidence to be like, okay, like I don't want you to have my baby like 5 days a week, but do you mind taking them for a few hours on this day so I can go to the grocery store and identify that they're there to help you. And I think that that's how we move forward from feeling like you're in this by yourself. We really have to open up like those lines of communication and realizing like what boundaries we want to set and who we can get help from with your partner, with your parents, even with friends. Like I have friends at the school, like Vanessa and other friends where like I identify that they're there and they love me and they're willing to help. So I will ask for help when I feel like I need it. And then that way I don't feel like I have to do everything by myself. This is so hard because I know that those people are there. This is what they're able to help me with. I just have to ask, right? So that's what we want you to think about is in order for you to move forward from feeling like you're so alone, you need to recognize who's there to help you. Like maybe you're like Vanessa, you're here, you don't have family, but you know that like you have your husband, you know, you've met some friends along the way and like they're willing to help you. You just have to reach out and ask for help.
So people's role is very important, right? Like what Diana was saying, the role of everyone in setting boundaries. As a mom, that's one thing that we learn too, how to set boundaries. But when people say something to us, we resent them and we react right away. So before you react, take a step back and realize like your journey right now as a mom is learning how to set boundaries. So you have to embrace it and learn it. Say it in a respectful way. Oh, mom, thank you so much that you want to help me, but right now we're good. If I need your help, I will let you know.
Yeah. Is it okay if I let you know?
And then is it okay if I let you know? Yeah. Not like, oh, why?
I don't want you to watch my baby.
Why you keep on telling me what I have to do, mom? I already got it. I know what I need to buy. I know what I need to do. Sometimes we're like that, but at the end of the day, they could be right.
We're just looking for something that we can control. I think that's kind of what it comes down to, but sometimes it's not always right. And that's just something that we want you to be conscious of.
Yeah.
And then work towards. It's not going to happen overnight. Like I still have a hard time asking for help or communicating really well with my husband. Sometimes you're just frustrated, but it's something to work on and like it's progress, right? And then we want to talk about just like loving your existing situation, and it's messy for everyone, but we want you to be able to see the good in it. And I think that's a lot of what is making us feel so heavy and making us feel like something is missing, because all we're focusing on is the bad stuff and that things will go wrong. The worst situation possible. And then it really ties into like comparison and everything too, right? Because we're always thinking the worst. We're always comparing ourselves to the perfect mom that's on that pedestal, not realizing that everyone's life is also messy, and not just, you know, embracing the fact that it is. And sometimes it sucks because, you know, you're running late, it's raining, the baby's being, you know, and it's hard to love your situation in that moment. But the best thing that we can do in that moment is realize that like everyone goes through this, and not attack ourselves because of it. You know, everyone says like, you'll miss this one day, and maybe it ticks you off like it ticks me off when people are like, well, you're going to miss this someday. I'm like, I'm pretty sure I'm not going to miss poop on my arm someday. But like, there's some truth to that where you have to, you know, just love the parts where like, you know, your daughter is trying to help you wipe the poop off, and like, you know, the beautiful parts of it. Cause like sometimes I'm really angry because like everyone wants me at the same time.
Yeah.
And it's so frustrating. So I'm only one person. I feel like I'm getting ripped apart because I have 4 children, a husband, but then I have to take a step back and like think about, like they all love me so much that they want me all the time. I'm looking down and like the smile on my baby's face when she's trying to like get to me.
Yeah.
It's so beautiful, you know, and like we're not going to be so happy and like loving all the time when we're in the trenches in this, you know, in this motherhood journey. But if we start focusing on the good parts, the fact that we are such good mothers to our kids, that they love us so much. They see us on a pedestal. They see us as the perfect mom on the pedestal. We don't see ourselves there, but that's what we want you to do, is start seeing yourself the way that your kids see you. Start seeing the good instead of the bad. When you have that kind of situation, sit down and like close your eyes and actually think about, like if you had a really rough morning, sit down and just think about like what were the good points, and see if you can get yourself to a place where you're trying to appreciate it versus like beating yourself yourself up for what had happened, because it's not your fault. If you're running late and it's raining and all this chaos is happening, but if you can detach yourself from the situation, sit back and like look at the good, it's going to help. It's going to help you so much versus like attacking yourself.
Because most of the time we feel like we have to fix the situation, right?
Yeah.
You can't come up with a solution right away. And if you feel like you're getting there, give a warning sign to your children. Like, mommy's already here, because they understand that. If they're too young, mommy's already here. I'm going to explode it real quick. And I use that to my husband too. I tell him my situation right now is not good. So I message him, house is a mess. And that's the first thing you notice when you see me, I'm going to explode. So please don't. And he said, yeah, I know. It might be war zone there. So I'm just going to raise my flag. So instead of it becoming something so full of animosity and anger when he comes, it became like something funny, right?
Mm-hmm. It's just the comparison thing is really hard. And we were talking about this yesterday. So let's give you a quick example of like, I have a really best friend that I've been friends with forever, like 15 years old. Our parents are friends, like our lives are very intertwined. And my mom always compares me to her, where she's like, oh, your friend is so great. She has this like giant house. Why don't you have that? And then I was talking to her, and then she was telling me how her parents always compare her to me. And they put me up on this pedestal and they beat her up about it. And like, I think it really just goes to show that like we all have our strengths, we all have our weaknesses. Yeah. Everybody is always comparing. So in order for us to kind of protect ourselves, like we need to focus on our strengths and know that there's somebody out there that's comparing themselves to you, thinking that you're this amazing, perfect mom and they're not doing a good job. So you need to see yourself that way. You shouldn't need somebody else to tell you that. You should already see yourself that way. And that's the purpose of our whole mindset challenge. A lot of the courses that we're working on is to help you get to a point where you're able to validate yourself, be confident enough in yourself that you're not doing that anymore. You're talking to yourself in a nice way. You're confident. You don't feel, we were talking about being awkward. You don't feel awkward because you're secure and you love yourself. So when other people tell you that you're doing a good job, you're kind of like, you acknowledge it, you appreciate it, but you already know. And that's so powerful. That is such a powerful place to be in, is to not need the outside validation and just to be able to celebrate yourself for who you are, flaws and all, because your children love you that way. Your husband loves you that way. Your family loves you that way. You need to love yourself that way. And we have such a hard time as moms because we always put ourselves last. We always put ourselves on the bottom of the barrel. We'll talk about everyone like they're amazing except for us. Yes, and that needs to change, right? Yeah. That's what we want.
Love your flaws. Love your flaws. Mm-hmm. And comparison is there because you're supposed to learn.
Yeah.
What's your niche as a person, right? You're there to learn. That's why comparison is there. But if you focus on just being compared, you're going to be stuck in that limbo, like always being compared. And you're looking up to other people instead of looking up to yourself. Now we're going to tell you how amazing it is to celebrate you. When I've learned this, it's so powerful. Like, dang, I can celebrate myself.
That's not vain to do. That's okay.
Yeah, I don't need to wait for my birthday, And imagine you can just do that. So here's our challenge to you. And we've taken you to that journey of realization and giving you solutions on how you can deal with all of this things that you put inside your head and the way you talk to yourself, how you're going to change that. So now we want you to face the mirror. Look at how beautiful you are, just from your face, from within, your heart, your soul, right? And talk about your accomplishments. Please compliment yourself. What would you say? What one word would you say to yourself now, Dan, if you're looking at the mirror?
That you're not grossed out by anything, because I literally head to toe, like butt to toe today. And I just did it, right? And like it's so powerful to just recognize that, like, maybe you think it's such a small thing or you think it's gross, you think it's a problem. I see it as a reason to celebrate myself, because I'm like, if that was my husband, he would have screamed. He wouldn't have known what to do. So I celebrated myself because I'm like, yeah, mama, you got this. Like, you're not grossed out by anything.
How amazing is that? Big or small thing. It is important that you added value to other people. not just to your children, not just to your husband, not just to your mom and your dad, everyone around you. Like when I go to school, I'm happy to talk to the parents. And now I don't feel like, oh, I have to brag about what I've done big, or I have to feel so low that I didn't do anything. I just celebrated that, oh, I woke up today. I was able to manage the two kids and I dropped off Tiago, my son, on time, and I put the baby to sleep. It's just so amazing. I was able to add value. Just you being a mother, that adds value already. And the things that you learn, everything that you learn is an added knowledge. It makes you a better daughter, a better wife, and a better mom. Don't take it as something that would like push you all the way down. Imagine your value. If your stock market, you're like way up there. You are so expensive right now. Look at you when you were single, the things that you could handle and the things that you complained about. Now that you're a mother, there's so many things that your brain can be challenged and you're okay with it. I can laugh. Like when my children are crying and I just change the subject and I just joke about things. I remember there came a point in my life too that I was like, I totally lost my humor. And my husband will be like, I'm just joking, Vanessa, chill, relax. And before I get so angry when people would say, chill, relax, what are you saying? Now I'm more like, yeah, I gotta just chill. I gotta relax and bring my humor back, smile with the people, add value to everyone around you, smile with them and laugh with them. Now, lastly, celebrate who you are, who you truly are from the very depth of your being, your identity, your qualities, your personality. There is something to be celebrated. You are made out of love from your parents. And it could be like your environment kind of like messed you up as a kid, or the way that people talk to you, but you have the ability to talk to yourself. You can control your brain. So why would you talk to yourself like, I'm so bad, I'm not good at this? The way that you speak to yourself is you're the one who's in control. So put a lot of positivity in there. Say, you got this, mama. You are so amazing. And the more that you speak like that, you'll hear your kids. They'll be saying that. They'll be grateful for you. Thank you, mama, for the wonderful food.
Yeah. I think that's such a powerful realization too, to know that you have the power to change how you think. Yeah. And we were talking before about like the whole kind of background of this is to be your own hero, write your own story, because nobody's coming to save you. No one. You know, like it's always going to be crazy as a mom. It's just, you know, people tell you like it's going to get better when they get older, and you just have different issues. And if you're constantly waiting for somebody to save you or something to happen, we're going to be living in this heavy, weird limbo for so long. And we want you to truly live your life, embrace the way that it is. Don't just sit there and survive waiting for your kids to grow, because we know you're going to blink, they're going to get older. So if you're able to celebrate yourself, it's not vain. I think maybe like we were brought up to think that it's vain to like you know, celebrate ourselves, and it's not at all. And we want you to recognize that right now, like draw a line in the sand and know that if you talk to yourself in a positive way, it doesn't hurt anybody. You know, it's just going to help you recognize who you are and celebrate who you are. And like you were somebody before you had kids. And I always feel, and I know that Vanessa feels the same, that I'm a better person now that I have kids, and I celebrate that. You know, there's so many qualities that I have now that I didn't even have before because of my children. And it's something that I tell myself on a daily basis. And I don't sit there thinking it's weird to talk to myself. I'm like, yeah, I got this. I'm able to multitask. I'm like, you know, I have a sense of humor about it. Like these are qualities about you that are beautiful and that need to be celebrated. And even if you're doing it quietly in your head and you're not saying it out loud in a mirror, that's totally fine. We have to start somewhere. And that's really the focus of day one, is that we wanted you to recognize the things that you're doing that are hurting you, that are causing you to feel heavy, that are causing you to feel like you're just dragging your feet. And then at the end of the day, you have all this mom guilt because you were dragging your feet all day and you weren't able to be the mom that you wanted to be. Well, we need to recognize it. We had to bring it to the surface. And we talked about the different things that you can do to try and make those things better and move forward and find a solution. Coach yourself day to day. But I think the most powerful thing is just celebrate yourself. Talk to yourself, replace those negative words with positive ones, even if it feels weird. You have to start it. I used to do affirmations every day. I would sit there and I would write 10 things.
Yeah.
I am powerful. I am beautiful. I'm a good mom. I'm a good friend. Like I am a good wife. And you write it down, and maybe there's power in writing it down or just saying it to yourself. That's
Yeah.
your homework. Maybe you create a mini routine for yourself and just even 5 things.
No maybes. No maybes.
No, okay. You have to do it. So 5 things it'll take you. You have 30 seconds to spend on yourself. We know that you don't like to spend time on yourself, but you need to take that 30 seconds, write down 5 things that you are, because you are.
The more that you write it, the more that you feel it resemble you, it shows you that that's who you are. Like, I like when you said, like, you're an amazing mom, because we forget that. You're an amazing wife. Do not forget that before we were a mom, we were also a partner to our spouse, also children to our parents, right? A daughter to our parents. So
friends.
And friends too. I know it gets like heavy and you feel it's a lot of pressure because we have a tendency to over focus on our children. That's why you start to feel like a bad mom. You just totally went cold turkey on everything, right? You just stopped it. Yeah. One step at a time. And now that you have this mindset, you'll be so mind blown of the things and how you can manage everything, because you were not using your effort and your energy on negativity.
Yeah.
It is so amazing.
I think that's a really good start. If you have never really dug deep into these things and a lot of these things triggered you today, that's a good thing. That's a great thing that we've been able to recognize it, because that's the first step to being able to move forward. And day 2, we're going to talk about limiting beliefs. And maybe you see other people doing all these things and you don't think that you can. And it really just comes down to limiting beliefs. And we've both done so much work on limiting beliefs, and we're so excited to take our motherhood spin on it and just help you get to a place where you're just thriving in life. And we're going to post that the next day. So tomorrow,
yes.
And then you're going to be blown away. If you actually do the work that we're asking you to do, I think you'll be blown away at how much it changes your motherhood journey.
After this session, practice it, do it already, and then carry it until day 2. That's why we have a deeper course about love thyself, because it is just so important that you do that. And once you love yourself, you'll be able to free yourself. And once you free yourself, you can appreciate yourself. So I hope you enjoyed your time today, because we enjoyed sharing everything that we have. This is like our passion, and this
our little baby. It's our other baby.
It's our other baby. This is like the most honest, and we've been like so vulnerable, and we have to show you that side, because it's not a sign of weakness, but because we want to be strong, that we want to be vulnerable and we want to be honest. So there's no line that, oh, everything's going to be okay. No, it's not going to be okay. We are not surviving, but we are thriving. We want to be the leaders that we are supposed to be. Mamas are leaders. Remember that. And this thing that we're telling you, it's not just about motherhood. It's also about your well-being, you as a person, your growth as an entrepreneur, and your growth as a wife. That's my take on this. Thank you so much for your time. Is there anything you want to say?
No, I don't think so. I think that was great. If you feel like you want to kind of touch on anything that was in here that we didn't talk about, or there's a specific situation that really kind of came to your mind, like, our inboxes are always open. Like, this is really like our baby. This is our passion. It's just to help moms get to a point where they feel happier and more in love with themselves, because we've seen the difference for ourselves and our families, and we just want to share that with as many people as possible. So and we're happy to talk about it.
Yeah, we promise you we're making it accessible, like everything. We spent lots of thousands of dollars for our courses, but we're not doing that to you.
I feel like with a lot of things out there that help you prepare for motherhood, this is something that's missing that we think moms need, because I've read parenting books, you know, I've looked at so many different tips and tricks, and nothing has made as much of a difference as working on the mindset.
Because it's about parenting. It's about learning about your children, but not learning about you. All right. Thank you so much. And we'll see you on day 2.